Okay. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, I'm going to talk about balancing professional and community commitments. Thanks, Kayla. So I'm really going to show you how I put into practice the concepts that Matt and that Mary talked about. I wanted to be an astronaut when I grew up. I'm currently a professional engineer with MoDOT, working on pavement planning, so not too far off. So we all know there's 24 hours in every day. I think the experts say we're supposed to get about 8 hours of sleep every night. We've got to work at least 8 hours every day. We've got to eat and drive places. So we're down to like 5 or 6 hours to get all the many things done that we want to or need to. So this is why we never think we have enough time to be involved in a professional organization, time for our family and friends. We don't think we have enough time to volunteer at the Serve Jeff City event last month. In the past week, you were probably thinking, I don't even have time to come to the YP Summit today. Well, I found that as you look back over the past week or month or more, you make time for what's truly important to you. You may not realize it in the moment or even be proud of some of the decisions you make as you look back, but you're indicating what your priorities are by how you spend your day. So the question is, are we proactively deciding how to spend our time? I know I have a tendency to let other people guide or direct my time. So I want to share some things that I've done to start to take back control of my days. Because before I started doing these things, I really felt out of control, like Mary was talking about. I was stressed out. When I was at work, I was just moving from task to task, but not really putting in the effort that I wanted to. When I was at home, I was thinking about the tasks I needed to do at work. When I was at a community or professional event, I was feeling guilty about not spending time with my family. And when someone would ask me to do something else, serve on a board or a committee, I'd say, sure, no problem. And I was trying to be all things to all people. And I was really getting stressed out and burned out. But now that I've taken control of my time, I'm really enjoying, again, the activities that I'm involved with. Now, my activities are centered around a young family. My wife, Lynette, and I have 2 young children, and here they are. And this may not be the specific case for you, but whether you're single or married and whatever your activities are, we all have people pulling us in different directions. We all have people competing for our attention. And if we can just take control of that, we can start proactively deciding how we want to spend our days. So I'm going to do this by going through a typical day for me, which starts about 5 a.m. I get up early before this hectic pace begins, because once we get the kids up, we've got to get them ready for breakfast, get them dressed, get their teeth brushed, get them ready for school. For Lynette and I to talk about who's picking the kids up in the afternoon, what we're having for dinner, all those things, and then we're out the door, off to work. And if I can just take a little bit of time for me beforehand, I like to read, do a little bit of light exercising, and it just allows me to get the day off on the right foot. And I'd encourage you to make some time throughout the day, whenever it is, some time for you. And it shouldn't be time to catch up on email or run errands. It needs to be something that you truly enjoy and that can help you reduce some stress. Because even though the mornings are fast-paced for me, if I can do this, I can still get through them relaxed. Because after this, I go to work, and this is an example from one day last week. As soon as I get to work, I get a call from one of our maintenance supervisors at MoDOT, where I'm the work zone coordinator for Central Missouri. And they need help setting up this work zone. I say, okay, I'll come out this afternoon and we'll take a look at it. So the schedule for my day has already changed. And I suppose it's because I'm an engineer, but I truly crave structure and a predictable schedule. And my job right now is anything but predictable. I'm in the office about half the time, I'm out in the field the other half, and I really never know when that time is going to be. And I just don't feel like I have enough time in the office to feel caught up. And on this particular morning, I'm feeling discouraged because my schedule's changed. I was planning on working on several of these little projects to get cleaned up. Well, I've started doing these 10-minute rules throughout the day. And this one I call sharpening the saw. I think someone talked earlier about, it was Chad that talked about the axe. So sharpening the saw. I just take 10 minutes and I read through a time management article or watch a leadership video. And then this morning, the article I read was about communication. And I realized I wasn't conveying all of these little projects I had going on to my supervisor. So I sat down and talked with them. We reprioritized a couple of things. And it gave me this new sense of direction, of confidence. Now, throughout the day, I have these little tasks that come up, things like filling out a timesheet or updating an expense account, scheduling a doctor appointment, all those little maintenance things that I just don't want to stop the work that I'm doing to take care of. And I just have in my mind, okay, I'll take care of that whenever I get a little free time. And the free time really never develops, so they just sort of pile up, and I never take care of them, and they're always on my mind. So the second of my 10-minute rules I usually do before lunch, and I just take care of all these little maintenance things then. So now whenever one of these comes to mind, I consciously decide I'm going to do that during that time, and it's not bothering me. I'm not thinking about it during the rest of the day. Now at lunch on this day, I have a lunch meeting with the Missouri Society of Professional Engineers. And my passion with this professional engineering organization is to encourage young students to pursue engineering and to encourage existing engineers to become professionally involved. So I always remember those couple of passions that I have. So whenever we have a lot of meetings scheduled and I'm feeling busy and overwhelmed, I think back to those couple of passions, and it reminds me why I'm really involved. And I'd encourage you to be involved with a group like the Young Professionals or a group specific to your profession. But always have those couple of passions, those core reasons why you belong to that group. Because not only is it going to help you through the busy times and the stressful times, it's going to help you through the slower times when there's not a lot going on, but because you want to achieve those goals, it's going to help you to stay active and keep going with the group. Okay, continuing on with my day. The afternoon, I go out and meet with the crew about that work zone, and we come up with a solution. And that's great, but it ends up taking the most of the afternoon. So once I get back to the office, I'm really only able to check a few emails before the end of the day. So I've been running around from all day, just moving from task to task, and I just don't feel like I've had a lot of accomplishments today. This is where I do the third of my 10-minute rule, and I call this one shining the saw. So I just take a little bit of time and sit down and type or write out my accomplishments, my successes for the day. So for this day, it was, had a good conversation with my supervisor. It doesn't have to be anything real complicated. It can be simple things. Attended the engineers meeting, helped the crew out in the field with the work zone. And I can start to see that I did make progress today. I did have accomplishments. I just, it wasn't what I'd originally planned to do that morning for the day. And I just normally don't take time to recognize those successes. So now I have something tangible I can look at and really be proud of the work that I did that day and be able to just leave it at work and not think about it and be able to go home to my family. Because once I get home, the hectic pace kind of begins again. We've got to get the kids home from school, get them started on their homework. We've got to get dinner going and have dinner. Now, everybody knows what you do at dinner, right? You talk about your day, okay? We try to get the kids to talk about what they did at school. Lynette and I talk about what happened at the office. Just try to have some quality time as a family. Because after dinner on the evening, I go over to our church where I have a meeting where I'm the Board of Finance Chairman. And so I'm away from my family for the evening. And I really cherish my time at home in the evenings with the family. So I try as much as possible to limit my evening activities to just one or two events or activities during the week in the evenings. And so this has required me to say no when people have asked to do additional things. And this is difficult for me, but I've had to learn to say, no, I'm sorry, I just don't have enough time for that. And probably the most difficult is just for me to be okay with that, realize I can't help out with everything, be comfortable with what I am working on, and just be kind of satisfied with that. So this great balancing act. If we can just take control of our days, and even if it's just little parts of our day, like these 10-minute rules that I've described, once you're truly in control of even just a small part of your life, you really start to feel in control of your overall life. And you can see that you really can start to balance all these activities. So, do enough to be fulfilled, but not so much that you can't enjoy the ride along the way. Okay, and I've listed just a few other techniques that have worked for me that may also work for you, and I'll be around this afternoon if you'd like to talk about those. But thank you.